NBA correspondent Femi Adefeso. He joins us tonight to talk about this. Femi, this is ordinarily what you probably see coming out of, a Hollywood movie. The FBI involved in arresting sports stars for illegal gambling and betting. And we're hearing things like, mafia families are involved, mafia organizations, organized crime is involved. First and foremost, for those who don't understand, just break down to us exactly what happened and what these men are being accused of.
Thank you, Tunde, and the rest of the guys in the studio. It's really Hollywood stuff, right? Because the two people that are involved in the NBA that were arrested were in two different cities, but they were arrested at the same time. So it was like a calculated crackdown. But this has been years of investigation. In the last 2 years, Terry Rozier, who is playing for the Miami Heat, has been on the radar, and I think the FBI had informed the NBA that he was under investigation before now. Prior to, some alleged sitting out of a game that involved someone winning, because we're told that he sort of told someone he'll be out from a game, and the guys sold that information for about $100,000 to people to bet, and they bet and they won, and then he received proceeds from that arrangement. And it's something that it's not far off from the NBA. It's a discussion that's been ongoing. With Chauncey Billups is a totally different thing. It's not about the sports betting, even though they're also naming him as a co-conspirator with some series of games in 2023 where everybody, the entire league was thanking for Victor Wembanyama, right? And there was a case of the Trailblazers actually tanking, losing 15 of their last 17 games and resting Damian Lillard, and somebody gave out that information before it became public, and so they used that to indict some betting activities. For Coach Billups, he was involved in a poker game. Now, the poker game scheme, according to what I've been able to gather from the local media here, is, they used him as a face card to attract big money bags to come play the game. However, the games, they had cameras, hidden X-ray cameras under the table and stuff. Wow. So they technically more or less swindled big guys of money with a premeditated game scheme, which he was part of. So the poker game thing is, with regards to sports betting, isn't exactly directly tied, but it's a totally different case. But there's also links with him being involved, even though he's not a major part of it. Okay. There's also another coach that was named, Coach Damon, who was a volunteer coach with the Los Angeles Lakers. So it was reported that, he gave people within his network information that a certain player who people are suspecting to be LeBron wasn't going to play a game after he broke the all-time leading scoring record, that he would be absent from that game. And so they used that information to stick bets. And interestingly, he ended up not playing, but then there was another game where he alleged to have told them that Anthony Davis, or that's what people are saying, and LeBron won't be available because they are Lakers players and they were like big Lakers players. And from all the traces, it looks like they were those two players. Okay, Femi,
really sorry to cut you short. Sorry to cut you short. We'll take a very, very short break. We'll be back to talk about this incredible story coming out of the NBA. Just all this and much more after this break. Thank you so much for staying tuned to watching Game On here on News Central TV. I still have Wale Adigun with me and Udoka Ojukwu, and joining us all the way from San Francisco, the United States, is Femi Adefeso, and we were talking about the incredible stories coming out of the United States involving illegal betting and gambling in the United States that has claimed two NBA stars, Chauncey Billups, who's the coach of the Portland Trailblazers, and Terry Rozier as well, who actually plays for another NBA team. And we heard that tens of millions of dollars was involved in this over the space of a period of years. From where I'm sitting, Femi, I'm already thinking of wire fraud, racketeering, illegal gambling, fraud. Those are the ones that can come up off the top of my head. And I'm not a lawyer, but these guys are looking at a long stretch. But how has this affected the integrity of the NBA itself? Because from what we're hearing, is it safe to say that some games were thrown? Have we gone that far? That some games were, sold, as we say in this part of the world?
Well, I mean, the betting schemes from what we've been able to gather is not exactly about the results, but activities within the game. So whether injury, some player not playing, or some player not performing at his optimal best in terms of points scored or under, injury reports and things like that, right? So with regards to the effect of, although that marginally then affects the result of the games eventually, but it's been in between the lines. For the NBA, I think this is something that they've been following for a while too. If you remember last year, the Toronto Raptors guard was, his name skips my memory for a second, was banned for life from playing in the NBA just last year. So they actually had a strong stance. However, it's difficult. You know, someone said it's like putting cheese in front of a rat and asking him not to pet your knee. That's what is going on, because now betting is heavily involved in the NBA. There's FanDuel, there's DraftKings, there's, you know, you can mention all their names. Underdog, like every commercial of every game, there's something effective. And so some of these players see it as an underhand way of compensating their people and giving them insider information. So it's the ability to link, or the crime actually is the leakage of those information. And one of the ways the NBA has tried to tackle this is things like injury reports are like on the go. You always release it every other time because those things are fake. But however, you know, it's really fine between. I won't be surprised this will open up many more, because we also had Malik Beasley. If you recall, also last season, he was called out. I think he was also arrested for gambling activities as well. It's sad. I know that now this is going to blow up another interesting, I think, movie series on sports betting.
I mean,
and the NBA
just here alone, Wale and I were already remembering The Sopranos. I mean, we're talking about some of the most historical mob families in the United States: the Genovese crime syndicate, the Bonanno crime syndicate, the Lucchese crime syndicate. I mean, it's amazing. But thank you so much for joining us tonight, Femi. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. We'll be reaching out to you as this story continues to develop. But thank you so much for coming through tonight, all the way from San Francisco, Femi Adefeso, our NBA correspondent.